What's up guys, Baer here. It's been a couple months since I made a video, but here I am, alive and well, in my garden, and today's the day. It's July Summer Garden Tour. So with that being said, roll the intro and get this video on its way. Here we go guys, the July tour. Start off as usual at the bottom with the red gold nectarine. This year, like this tree and most of my other peach trees, got a lot of disease going on. I sprayed it with it's called an organicide spray. It was supposed to take care of a lot of the peach leaf curl and other problems I have on my peach trees, but it didn't really help this year. A lot of my peach trees look like a greenish yellow color. There's a lot of ugly black spots on them and etc. And most of them don't even have peaches on them this year, so a little sad about that, but what can you do? There's always next year. At least it still has foliage on it and it might be healthy next year, hopefully. Coming up, Bella Georgia, same problem. No peaches, ugly greenish color, greenish yellow actually. And yeah, another sick tree. Same thing with this one, White Princess. No peaches, greenish yellow color. But then we come to this one. This old girl is very healthy, huge. Still not a lot of peaches, but you know, I might get like 10 pounds off her, so happy with that. Moving on to the next one, the columnar red rocket, my favorite peach tree. It also does have some peaches on it and it's looking pretty healthy. It's actually green and not greenish yellow ugliness. So I'm getting to focus on here. It doesn't look like it wants to here, but yeah, peaches are about the size of golf balls right now. I think there's probably about 20 on the tree. Let's see if I can zoom out here. The tree's getting pretty tall. It's getting really close to the power line, so I'm gonna have to give her a quick trim next spring here. Coming up, the next two White Princesses, which this tree right here used to be my best looking tree. I had to cut a lot off because it was actually a couple inches away from touching the power line and it was already touching my cable line, so I really had to get rid of a lot of the branches on it, and for some reason now it looks like crap. And yeah, same problem, ugly yellowish green leaves here. Man, this camera does not want to focus today, son of a gun. Oh well. Oh yeah, this tree usually has like 100 pounds of peaches on it, and this year nothing, sadly. What can you do though? Alright, well, moving on up here. Flower beds, of course. Down here. Yep, we keep a deer net over them, but somehow the deer are really smart here and they figure out how to get underneath the deer net and just ravage everything. Coming up to the top here, we've got Honeycrisp apple tree. It's got rust pretty bad. Most of my apple trees have rust this year. Neighbor's lawn over there does have some arborvitae, which has the cedar apple rust disease. If you've ever seen that, it kind of looks like little octopus ball things, and in the springtime the spores will spread. I think it's up to like 2 or 3 miles around. And of course I have apple trees, so symbiotic relationship, and my apple trees always get it, sadly. I don't know if you can see it in the back, but all of this, grab some here, this is all apple mint. It started out in like a 16-ounce Dixie cup I got from a local nursery for like $1.25, I think like 4 years ago. And it spread in my garden, so I moved it to other places. It spread in there again because somehow I leaved it in one little root and it just keeps growing. So I grabbed like a wheelbarrow full of it and I planted it up here, and now it pretty much took over the entire embankment here, which I'm not complaining. I do have a lot of water problems, so hopefully this helps to soak up some of the water. Alright, so here we got another Honeycrisp. Same problem, bad rust this year. I've always said I don't want to do it, but I'm probably going to have to spray some pretty disgusting chemicals on these so I can actually get some apples and they'll be healthy next year. Or I'm going to look into BT too. I've heard that can help a lot. And over here, Kiefer pear. It's got a little bit of spotting on it. I think it's also can have some sort of rust. I don't think it's quite the same as apple trees. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, no pears on it, but still a fairly healthy tree. And over here, same problem. Got the rust. I've had a lot of fungus and bacterial disease problems this year because it was very wet in the spring and had a lot of consistent rain throughout up into June and July as well, so having a lot of problems this year. We'll come down here now. Check out this old girl, this peach tree. Pretty much no problems. It doesn't really produce as many peaches as it should because it's kind of shaded by these little girls here. These are some pretty neat trees. Towards the end of the season, they'll actually get beans on them. They're like a foot long. It's pretty interesting. So, peach tree probably doesn't see more than 5 or 6 hours of sunlight a day, sadly. And over here, this is either a McIntosh or a Red Delicious apple tree. Can't tell anymore. I kind of lost the tags on them and they haven't even produced apples yet, so yeah, who knows until they actually produce apples, we'll see. And over here, once again, I bought that tree and this tree at the same time, so one's Red Delicious, one's the McIntosh. And let me see if I can, probably can't get this focused, but you can see the cedar apple rust disease on this one pretty bad. On the apple tree, it's like little spiky things on the bottom of the leaves, and like I said before, on the cedar or arborvitae or whatever it is, it's like it's called a gull, I think it is. It looks like a little octopus. Alright, gotta do a little adjusting on my gimbal here. My battery pack's falling out. So, cut off now. Whew, that was annoying. So, if you don't know, I have the Sony RX100 Mark IV. Battery life is really bad, so I actually hook it up to a external power pack, just like a 5,000 milliamp battery pack, and the battery will pretty much last for literally like 20 hours if I wanted to without having to charge it. But of course, then you run into the problems with this camera can only record 30 minutes at a time, and it overheats in really hot weather, so there's some downsides to it. But until I start seeing any kind of results on my YouTube channel, I'm not gonna buy a new camera, of course. And this is a Yellow Delicious. I picked this thing up, let's see, last fall, 15 bucks on clearance. More rust problems, so yep, next year I'm investing in some disgusting chemicals and I'm gonna take care of all this rust. They say you have to pretty much spray as soon as the bud shows, but not before it breaks. So right when you start seeing some pink or white flower coming out of the bud itself, that's when you spray. And it should take care of all the problems of the fungus and everything. Hopefully. Alright, of course I'm gonna save this garden for last. So we're gonna walk over here now to what is my old garden technically. This is the one I built in spring of when I moved in. But first, my little hops vine is doing good. I bought my dad a hops vine, I think for Father's Day, and then another one for something else years ago. And he gave me this little guy last year. It's looking really good. I don't know what kind it is off the top of my head, but it's really coming along. And over here, just got some random tomato plants, some kale and eggplants. We actually went to Frog Pond's farm, which for anybody that lives in Broome County, or Shenango County technically, it's a nice little place to go, especially on the weekends when the donut shop's open. Those donuts are like the best thing you'll ever have. But it was a great time. They were giving out flats of annuals and veggie plants for free. So we picked up 4 flats of veggies and some annual flowers, and yeah, we sold a lot of stuff at the produce stand and made a huge profit off of that, and picked up a lot of pepper plants and actually picked the peppers off them and sold those at the produce stand, and then planted the pepper plants, so it was like a double whammy of making money off of those for now. They're looking pretty good, which I'll show you in a second. They're in the other garden. But coming up here, my mom gave me a bunch of tomato plants as well. I think these are Better Boys and Ace tomatoes and maybe a few Romas. And here we are, coming up on the Hobbit door. This thing has seen better days. It's starting to get pretty worn out. I gotta buy some new paint and fix her up again. All right, coming in here. You know, I never knew I planted a pumpkin in here, but I guess I did. I thought I planted only yellow squash and zucchini, but somehow this little guy snuck in. Haven't seen any actual pumpkins on it yet, but I'm sure they'll be coming. Got some Hungarian wax peppers interplanted in here with some tomato plants and zucchini and yellow squash in here. Coming over here, this used to be the strawberry bed, but I finally called it quits on the strawberries. They were pretty underproductive and really wasting the space. I mean, the space is like probably close to 150 square feet that I was just wasting every year. So now I turned it into a raspberry bed, because if you've ever bought raspberries at the store, they can run easily up to, you know, like $6 a pound for like a yellow or white raspberry. Most of these raspberries are Heritage Red. I bought the plant from Tractor Supply probably 4 years ago, and slowly it's spread around. I've been picking off the little extra whips on the side and planting them all over the yard. Now I finally consolidated everything together over here. Over here we have the Fall Gold, which is a really great producer. It'll produce from springtime up into the fall, kind of like an ever-bearing thing. And this is Fall Gold as well. And then we just got a bunch of babies down here. Coming over here, more tomatoes. I don't know what this is. It might be a black fernissage, and then more wax peppers all in here. And another pumpkin. Got the dwarf nectarine. No nectarines this year, but the foliage looks healthy, so that's all I care about. The deer aren't eating it anymore. And down here, more pumpkin, and if you leave a little bit of apple mint, like I said, it'll just go wild like it did again in here. Then we got a babe apple tree, which I'm probably just gonna get rid of. It gets sick every year. It hasn't really grown much in the last 4 years. Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, another cucumber in there. I think that's an Armenian cucumber, if you've ever seen one of those. They kind of look like an English cucumber, but a little bigger. Really tasty. Close this door up. Alright, go over here. More tomatoes. I think these are all black vernissage in here. And I've got pole beans growing up this whole arbor here. Can't wait for that. This year I think I've grown 3 different types of beans. I've got like a standard, I think Kentucky, whatever number it is, 32 or whatever, just a green bean. And I've got a rattlesnake, which is like a purple and green. And then I've got a solid purple, really beautiful, which I can probably actually show you right now. I think there's a couple on the outside here. A little dark, but you can see, yeah, as it matures. Beautiful purple color once it's bigger. All right, here's my pride and joy coming in on the garden. I'm gonna start off on the left here. So I got smart this year. I actually planted each row with only one type of tomato, so it's easier to manage and pick things out. Starting from the right, we've got all sweet 100s. This is the first year I've grown a non-heirloom variety. You know, people were just asking for cherry tomatoes down at the stand because the black vernissage, which is the middle row, did so well. And I decided to do another cherry tomato, and I definitely picked a good one. These plants are super healthy, not necessarily disease resistant as they should be. You know, I've suffered a lot of blight problems this year with all my tomato plants, especially over here, the Cherokee purples on the left and the Rutgers right here on this left. But so far so good. So we'll come in here, we've got all the Cherokee purples, and down here we got a lot of pots. These are a lot of the free plants I got from Frog Pond. We got some Millionaire Eggplants, Ichiban eggplant over here. Really happy and excited about this. I don't necessarily want to eat these. I'm not super into that kind of spicy food, but these are ghost chilies. I got this plant for $1 at Russell Farms over in Vestal. Really pumped about that. It's covered in them. And I'm gonna try to actually overwinter that and a few other of these. That's why I kept them in pots. And for the eggplants, of course, they kind of need to be warm. That's why I kept them in black pots. And so the sun can actually heat the soil up and keep these things producing. I've got a couple flowers on them right now. I don't expect really to get more than maybe 5 eggplants off these things. I don't have much luck with eggplants, honestly. And over there, we've got a bunch of jalapenos. And at Frog Pond, I also picked up, I think, 5 scorpion moringa peppers. They do have buds on them right now. Well, sad day, my camera's starting to overheat, so it just shut off on me while I was talking, but I'm gonna try to film clips in between it shutting off now, so let's do this really quick. Over here we got my squash bed. It's yellow straight neck squash, not crookneck this year, and zucchinis. And of course all the Cherokee purples on the left. Got the mascot of the garden, my owl, which does not scare any birds away. And yeah, that's about all that's in here. There's beans planted in here, but for some reason on this side, they don't produce as well as the middle yet. So hopefully we'll get there though. I'm sure this camera's gonna shut off pretty soon, so I'll try to hurry up here. Coming in here, like I said, sweet 100s everywhere. You can see them in here if the camera will focus. We are covered by grape clusters in here. Then on the left, I've grown the black vernissage for I think like 3 or 4 years now. I love these things. You know, I don't eat tomatoes, but everybody says they taste like a smoky, almost bacony flavor. And just beautiful when they're ripe. I don't have any ripe ones in here. I just picked to put down at the stand. But they're like a dark red mixed with pink, mixed with a little green and all striped. You can see the stripes on them right here if it'll focus. Nope. So sweet 100s on the right. Lots of beans hiding in here. I don't think I'm gonna do the bean interplanting like next year. It's really hard to actually find the beans because, you know, they're green and all the tomato plants are green, so I'm having a hard time. They kind of sneak up on me and then they're too big and they get stringy, etc., etc. So coming in here, we've got pretty much all Hungarian wax peppers in here. Sorry about that, camera shut off again. So like I said, never really any luck with pepper plants, but this year I read some stuff online and I've actually been pretty successful. Not necessarily growing the peppers yet, but getting the plants to be the size to grow the peppers. All I've really been doing is actually just pinching off the flowers to make the plants grow bigger instead of producing the fruit earlier. And so far so good. I've got some, yeah, they're probably close to 18 to 24 inch tall plants now. I think at this point I am gonna let them grow the peppers now. Here. Oh yeah, banana tree. If you watch my spring video, this banana tree was a lot smaller and it didn't have this side pup on it. I don't think I'm watering it enough, so that's why it's producing the side pup. It's like a emergency defense thing to produce an offspring because it thinks it's in a crisis mode. So I probably just got to pick up on watering it a little more. Once this gets a little taller, I can actually separate these two and have 2 banana trees, which I'm pumped about. And then I'll have bananas in probably 3 or 4 years if everything goes well. I'm sure the camera's gonna shut off soon, so here we go, in a hurry. Down here, all the Rutgers tomatoes, got clumps of them down here. Rutgers is a pretty well-producing heirloom tomato plant. It's, man, oh man, this camera is annoying when it's above like 75 out. It just overheats after like 5 minutes. Let's get through this. I also have probably close to 15 cucumber plants hiding in here. I've already picked close to 10, maybe even 20 cucumbers out of here and sold them at the stand. Most of them are pickling cucumbers, but I do have market more, and like I said, Armenian cucumbers as well in here. But should be a good year. There's one lady that drives by in the blue car, and she pretty much buys all my produce every day. She must really make a lot of salads or something with it. It's pretty amazing, but happy with it. Glad I'm doing what I love and actually making a little side money on it. It's pretty awesome. So pumped. I found this little scooter thing on the side of the road. It's a sit and scoot. It's really handy for doing trimming on the underleaves and such because of my blight problems. I've been using this thing a lot. Saves my back a little bit. Oh, there's that. I think that's everything in here now. I think that about wraps up the tour. I'm not going to show you the side yard like I usually do. Pretty much everything's gone now. I moved all the raspberries, the 2 apple trees. All that's really left are some currants and some half-dead blueberry bushes over there, and the Asian pear, which isn't really producing. Sorry, camera shut off one more time here, so just gonna wrap it up now. Yeah, been pretty busy. I haven't really made a video in probably 2 months now. After I came back from Florida, you know, I really wanted to buckle down on saving money. I've actually been selling a lot of stuff on eBay. I've been picking scrap metal now, doing a lot of little things to make more money. I'd love to buy like a vacation home down somewhere near Orlando. Definitely not in Orlando because I'm not that rich, but within like an hour and a half of there, I could probably pick one up for under 100 grand that's in decent shape. Hopefully, and maybe Airbnb it when I'm not there, something like that, but we'll see. So with that being said, if you like this video, definitely give it a like. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe. And if you want to stay in the know for all my future uploads, make sure you turn on that notification bell and make sure it's set to notifications on always. And I hope to see you next video. Greg, Baer out.